We expected Sydney, Canada to be an attractive cruise port and jumping off point for sites around Cape Breton Island. And it was. But a taste of Scotland? Yes, it's a moose with a kilt. I'll explain in a minute. We go over the usual port basics, cover the town, and our experience renting a car. And yeah, we needed wheels. But it was worth it.
Let's go!
I'm Troy, and this is the Port Lowdown. Sydney sits on Cape Breton Island's east coast in Nova Scotia, Canada. Sydney is small and quiet, with some history to take in along the area's North End Heritage Conservation District. But most visitors venture beyond. The breathtaking 185-mile Cabot Trail hugs the island's northern coast and invites exploration of Cape Breton Highlands National Park. Further south, Louisbourg Fortress, established in 1713 as a major military stronghold, stands as another significant destination. And the island's central area showcases more history, with the Alexander Graham Bell National Historic Site and the Highland Village Museum in Iona, overlooking the magnificent Brador Lake. The docks are on the west coast of town, facing the Sydney River. Main Dock and Liberty Pier are the two docking berths, but additional ships can also anchor and tender in. We landed at the more isolated Liberty Pier, about a 5 to 10 minute walk to the main dock and terminal building. Although it's a longish pier, there are some benches near the end, along with the usual taxi companies offering rides. Now, feel free to freeze frame these taxi rates, quoted per car and in Canadian dollars, for your convenience. And the tour bus rendezvous. This area is pretty attractive and a pleasant walk, with more benches and, what will be a recurring theme here, Adirondack chairs. Past the gate and you're in the main dock with some pretty cool stuff outside the terminal building. Walking tours via Grey Line. This small but interesting shopping area, which not only sports a convenience store with bike, mobility, scooter rentals, much appreciated, and a blacksmith who says they make anything. Who has a blacksmith at port? That was special. Plus, more Adirondack action. The Joan Hariss Cruise Pavilion is the main dock terminal building with all the conveniences you'd expect. Clean and spacious bathrooms, a standalone ATM, although we'd opt for bank ATMs about a 10 to 15 minute walk downtown, if possible. And lots of shopping. Pittman Hall seems to be a convention-sized space with local vendors, although I'm not sure if this is an everyday thing. A tourist information desk is here too, of course, with maps. A cafe, and an upstairs restaurant. Now, we first got hit with the island's Scottish heritage here. It's like we're back in Scotland. A wide variety of Scottish-style goods, although I'm pretty sure a kilt won't be in my future. Celtic culture is a huge thing here, with Scottish immigration playing a big part in the island's history. Even some of the road signs are in Gaelic. And the Big Fiddle, the world's largest, celebrates this, with fiddle music first brought in by the Scottish. Just outside the terminal is another taxi area, as well as a pickup point. Plus, more Adirondack chairs. Also here is a convenient free shuttle that loops between the main dock and Liberty Pier. While it may seem redundant to bus to Liberty, it comes in handy when you have mobility issues or simply in a hurry to get to your ship.
Yeah! We made it!
Did you take the bus?
Yes!
A much appreciated service addition. Now, as you walk out of the parking area, the sidewalk splits. Take the left to follow this lovely sidewalk overlooking the harbor, shaded and lined with benches. This sidewalk faces the Esplanade, one of the main streets facing the shore. It also faces the start of Sydney's North End Heritage Conservation District. This area is where the historical houses of Sydney have museums and tours, such as the Cosset House. Built in 1787, it's believed to be the oldest surviving house in Sydney, or Jost Heritage House. Two significant churches are also here: St. George's Anglican Church, the oldest church in Cape Breton, and St. Patrick's Church Museum. Take the right to follow the Sydney Waterfront Boardwalk, a broad, handsome route with sculptures about the town's history, local recreation, small food stalls, and a public restroom at the end. Lots of benches. Walk up from the waterfront and cross the Esplanade to Charlotte Street. This is the main drag, but it's a quiet one. A few stores, including this cute thrift store. 2 ATMs, this pharmacy, Guardian Paulet drugstore, and this small museum, the Old Sydney Society, with exhibits about local town history for a small donation. The historical district in town, in my opinion, was good for no more than 2 hours, but the area really needs to be experienced, to some extent at least, out of town. And for that, you'll need wheels. No trains, and local buses have limited schedules and aren't time efficient for a cruiser. We could have chosen a ship tour or outside taxi tour, but felt our most cost-effective and flexible option was car rental, especially since we had 5 people in our party. The per-person cost was greatly reduced. Anyway, good news is there's car rental offices in town. Bad news is they're not within walking distance or at the port directly. The closest one, Avis, is about 3 kilometers east from downtown. So you'll need a cab ride or see if the rental company will pick you up and return you to port. Our company, Enterprise, did just that. We were picked up right at the main dock, the ride to the rental office only taking about 5 minutes. See our link in the description for a map of the car rental options in the area. We booked online ahead of time, of course. With such a small area, expect supply to be limited, so we recommend booking as far ahead as possible. Service was friendly and fast. We paid a total of 135 Canadian dollars, which included additional insurance protection, which we always get on port days. In case anything happens, we can walk away without spending valuable time on formalities. The car itself wasn't compact, but comfortable enough for the boys in back. And it had a GPS screen. Canada driving is basically US driving quality with a lot less stress. Polite drivers and tranquil landscapes. By the way, if self-exploring on your own while cruising interests you, be sure to like and consider subscribing. DIY is our passion, and we're building a library of port reports, ship tours, and tips. Now, we got a late start with the car, so we had some tough choices to make. We needed to focus on a particular area of Cape Breton, so we chose the center to visit the Alexander Graham Bell National Historic Site and stop by the Highland Village Museum in Iona. The Village Museum was about an hour drive west of town. Bell would have taken another hour from there, and then back to Sydney from there, another hour. So did we want to rush between 2 locations or take our time with one? We chose the Village. Founded in 1959, it preserves and interprets the traditions of the thousands of Gaelic-speaking Scots who immigrated to Nova Scotia between the mid-1700s and the late 1800s. It spans a 43-acre site overlooking the Brador Lake and features 11 historic buildings representing 4 distinct eras of Gaelic settlement. Costume staff bring these buildings to life and offering visitors an immersive experience of Gaelic folk life. Isolated on the hill, looking over the lake, it really does feel like you're back in time. And it's involving enough to engage even our teenage crew. It's really fascinating, and like if you're blessed with a beautiful day like this, it's absolutely like stunning. It's beautiful here. Plus, the adjoining museum does an outstanding job creating context. Learn some Scottish dancing while you're here.
Up with your heel, back with your toe.
If you're considering this as a single destination or one of 2 destinations in a day, it won't disappoint. Absolutely worth it. On our way back, we had to sample some local food, of course. Burgers and poutine at this local roadside cafe. My last encounter with poutine, French fries with cheese curd and gravy, in Halifax wasn't the best. But this time it was much better, with lots more additions. Peppers, meat, and stuff. Plus, I insisted on getting ice cream at this cute, retro roadside stand on the way back. It had a pretty wide variety of lots of things.
Sea salt caramel. The sea salt caramel on the top and the Big Fiddle on the bottom.
All this added up to a very enjoyable mini road trip, although it meant cutting time spent in town. No regrets though. In fact, we're ready for another road trip here. Eastern Canada, in fact, has a ton to offer. Halifax, for example, is also in Nova Scotia and easily one of my favorite Canadian cities, with lots to do within walking distance. Check out our video for that port here. And as always, we look forward to your comments and questions. Keep them coming, and happy travels.